the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, and Jerry Keyser.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report for Thursday, February 3rd. Show number 216. Scott Hammer with you, along with Jerry Keyser, Felix Fafufnik, otherwise known as the Professor Ron Miller. Sometimes he's got multiple personalities. Coming at you live from, we're back all separated. I didn't go over to the Ron Miller Race Cars studio due to some weather conditions.
Just a few.
Just a little, I could have, but I already got my pajamas on, so. It's the Hammer Down Racing Report presented by Oakshade Raceway, coming at you live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Also, follow us on YouTube, too, while you're at it. Why not? You can also listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can check it all out at hammerdownracingreport.com. Jerry, what's happening over there? You're getting all pixelated.
Lucas Oil late models from Florida. Colton Flinner
I think it's killing your internet. Your internet was working great before the show, and then all of a sudden you're all
fuzzy and
now
you're froze.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys continue on. I'll be back.
All right, we're going to continue on. Here, we'll just do this for now. Tonight on the show, looking forward to this. We're going to speak to two-time USAC Silver Crown Series champion and National Sprint Car Hall of Famer Jack Hewitt, the legendary Jack Hewitt.
And,
he was in the Indy 500. I didn't even realize that.
Scott, we should have some listeners this morning, Australia time, and I'm hoping that in the comments section they post a couple questions that we could ask Jack.
All right. I know I got some comments even before the show. Shane Yoder had mentioned something he wants to pass along. So some interesting stuff there. Want to give a warning, though, before we get too deep into the show tonight. There is a chance there may be some adult language. I know usually we try to keep the show PG-13 at the where it's probably still going to be PG-13 because I think if you use one F word, you could still be PG-13. So just a fair warning if you got any kids listening. Later on, you may need some earmuffs.
I'm sure it's nothing that they haven't heard.
Probably
before.
Not. But I'm just giving the warning out that way. It's I'm covering our own butts. How's that?
They're race car fans, and if these kids have spent any time in the pits, they've been there and done that. Heard that.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you fixed? Hey, you look better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went ahead and went wired. I don't know what's up with my Wi-Fi tonight, but I reset my router today, but who knows?
I think it's you're streaming the racing stuff. It's taking all your bandwidth.
No.
Got to thank Oakshade Raceway. We're the fastest meet to race every Saturday night during race season. Make sure to visit them at oakshaderaceway.com. When that schedule's posted, that's where you can find it. Or follow them on social media. They'll have it on there as well. Right now, still the only date officially on the 2022 schedule for Oakshade Raceway is the Summer Nationals date on July 16th.
Here's a little tease. If you want to know 4 more dates, go to Attica Raceway, and they have 4 Attica Oakshade challenge races posted. So pretty sure that those are confirmed dates.
Yeah, and we'll talk about, actually, Attica's schedule in the news, some of the highlights on that coming up as well. Got to also thank Big D's Pizza, Subs, Ribs, Chicken, and more in Clyde, Ohio. Don't call them right now, 419-547-1444, because they are closed due to the weather, even though I saw Dean said it's not that bad. Well, then why'd you close Big D's today? I mean, come on.
Keep his employees safe. Not everybody can handle the snowy conditions like us race car drivers.
There you go. But when they're back open, make sure to order Big D's Pizza at orderbigdspizza.com or the number I just gave you. Check out the new cheese and pepperoni pizza bites served with a side of marinara sauce. They may be open for lunch tomorrow. Keep an eye on their social media. They'll let you know if they are going to be open. Also got to thank our other sponsors, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, and Headhunters Barber Studio and Salon, who is also closed today because of the weather.
Really?
Yeah. Was Ron Miller Race Cars open today?
Yeah. somebody brought a go-kart in that they plan to take up to Tip Up this weekend, and I had to fabricate some new engine mounts for them. So yeah, we were there, trudged out. Actually, I shoveled
your commute's pretty short there.
Yeah, the walkway out to the shop, I shoveled that 4 times already since this started at 11 o'clock yesterday morning.
You need to hire somebody to do that for you. Well, should we give Jack a call?
Why not?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's ring up Mr. Jack Hewitt. Maybe I should have had you give him my number so he knows to answer. Come on, Jack.
I don't recognize that number.
What? Is that what people do with flip phones? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this Jack?
Yeah.
Jack, it's Scott Hammer, Jerry Keyser, and Ron Miller from the Hammer Down Racing Report. How's it going?
Man, you got lucky you caught my ass. I forgot about it.
You forgot about it?
Man. Yeah, Jerry was supposed to give me a warning.
Jerry.
I thought I told you to call him.
Oh, well, I did just now.
Well, all worked out. That's all that counts. That's all that counts. We're here now.
That's right. Are you? You live down in Florida now, don't you?
In the wintertime. I don't even want to see snow on a Christmas card.
Okay, so you're missing out on all the fun that we're having up here now with all the snow.
Yeah, this 80 degrees is hard to take today.
Well, that's awful.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Sweating up a storm.
So when do you come back to this area then? When is winter over for you?
Usually in May, like I said, I'm getting out on him once a good frost, but what it is, my main thing is I like things green, and the later I get back to green, then I'm happy. If it's brown, it's still depressing to me, even though I know the green's coming. People say they like them 4 seasons, I don't like them red leaves. If they're not green, I don't need to see them.
That plan sounds better and better every year, Jack.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt. No doubt. So what are you guys up to other than shoveling snow?
We decided to come in and do a little show here and talk to you about your career and everything, and we got a bunch of people that want to hear about it.
Oh, my. They got the awful board. That snow brings them in, don't it?
Yeah, nobody's got anything else to do now, so they're all checking this out. So
right, you got a captain audience tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly. So have you always been that way with not liking the brown and the winter?
No, I actually, and I know because I'm gonna say shit or something here in a little bit, but actually, when I got saved, the green turned a different color green, and I just kind of followed that. That was a sign to me. So if the man tell me I like green, and that's what I started following. And I think that would have been 2003.
Okay.
And that's about when we started coming to Florida for longer and longer. It started out like 3 weeks, then it went to a month, then 2 months, then 3 months, then 4. We're up to almost 8 months now, not quite.
So you have a house down there, or you just?
Yeah, actually, Dennis Kaser, Dennis and Chris Kaser that I drove for, they got we come down here and I was over at Larry Moore, the late model racer one day, and he had a realtor neighbor, and he said, and I told him one day I'd like to get a piece of property and everything, or a RV park for down here. He said, I got the perfect place. So I said, I don't want to go down. He said, no. He said, I'm not ready yet. He said, come on, take a ride. So we rode down. I went right home. We got Chris and Dennis and Jody, and we come down and bought it.
Do you get out to all the races that are going on down there about this time of year?
Well, tonight they got the Lucas Oil over at Lakeland. That's 100-mile away, and I should have went tonight because tonight it wasn't supposed to get below 60. Tomorrow it's supposed to be a little cooler tomorrow night, but yeah, we try to get to something. Then next week we got the Outlaws at Volusia, and we got the USAC Midgets at Bubba's. So, and then after that we got the non-wing cars at Volusia on Monday and Tuesday, along with the late models and the UMP modifieds, and then we go to Bubba's back for more non-wing sprint car racing, and we get a few of them around more down here for daggone sure.
Jack, I think our good friend Wade Onger is listening in tonight from Australia.
Oh my gosh! Oh man!
Now you've run quite a few times down in Australia. Ron's a big fan of that. He used to run down in Australia for how many years did you do that, Ron?
I've had three tours over on the West Coast and one tour on the East Coast. And Jack, you've been there what, 20, 30 times?
I raced there 11 winters, and then when I got hurt, I went over for a cerebral palsy. I was the guest speaker there, and for Warner Bull Classic, I was the infield announcer. Can you imagine them people giving me a microphone?
Oh boy!
And then they went, and I went back for my good friend Chaz Kelly's 73rd birthday. So we've been over there a few times for daggone sure, and it was really cool leaving Ohio to go over to where it was 80, 90 degrees. But then when I come down to Florida, it kind of took a little bit of the good times off because it wasn't quite as cold then,
Jack, Alan Blake from Western Australia spends a lot of summers with us. So those folks are great. They really are. And I appreciate them.
No, they're not all great. It's just like over here. You go anywhere. If you go to Kentucky or Pennsylvania or whatever, you think, man, those are the nicest people. No, the assholes just don't come around. So you think everybody's good. Everybody's not the greatest people in the world. Only the good people come around and make themselves be known. So you give everybody a green light, and the screwball, they just don't come around. So, but that's a good way to think of things. Everybody's cool over there, and I do like the Aussies for daggone sure.
Well, you mentioned Kentucky, and I know your favorite family from Kentucky is the Nichols that you raced for years. Tim Nichols is watching in with us, Jack. Can you tell us any good stories of the past racing for Don and Harold Nichols?
Oh, my God. We were down here in Florida one year in Volusia County, and they came down and they bought this box truck, like a U-Haul or whatever. And Mike Nichols, their other nephew, they converted it. They put like 6 school bus seats in it, plus they had the 2 bucket seats up front. And then they towed the trailer down there. And anyway, the thing was, Russ Hart drove it down like at 55 miles an hour, and it'd get to weaving back and forth so bad they couldn't get up no speed, So we get to Volusia. After Volusia, we've gone to Jacksonville to race, and it's like 70 miles up the interstate. It's raining. And them ding-dongs let me drive. And I'll tell you what, it sounded like a church bus going up there because I had that baby up to about 70, 75 miles on it, and the wobble went out. It just towed really nice after you got to pass that scary part. Oh, my God. They was back there. They was doing some praying back there and then slow. And why they let me behind the wheel, I have no idea.
They figure you're a good driver.
Oh, yeah. They knew better than that because I drove the race car.
Now, Ron says you ran into something at Eldora. I'll let Ron ask this.
Well, you were down there, and I think you were helping run the track back in after a little bit of a rain delay. And
yep.
you and Mr. Hunt went out in his van, and I remember seeing some stripes on the right rear quarter of that van.
Okay, well, that was my blue van, my 78 blue Chevy van, short wheelbase. And what happened, that it rained that night, if you remember correct, and the Jeeps couldn't get it up there fast enough to get up there to run that groove in. Said, you let me get that thing in there. Well, I got my van going down that pit lane, and I got her up on the fence, And I ran a big enough groove in for the Jeeps to get up there. And we kept going and kept going. Well, then Shane Carson come out in his dually, his tow rig to help try to run the track. And then Shane and I got to racing, and I ended up, I scraped down between 3 and 4 down the wall. I had like a 4-inch long, 2-inch wide flat spot between my side running light and my brake light, but it didn't hurt nothing. I never lost a piece of plastic, just a little bit of scratch. The Eldora stripe.
Eldora stripe.
Wasn't Mr. Hunt along with you on that ride?
I think so. I think he was riding with me. We had the same thing over at Indy. The funniest one was at Indy doing that, and it rained, and to run a mile track, and now there was 50 cars out there on the racetrack trying to run it in. And I got my van, but they was making us go the wrong way. They weren't going to let us go the right way. We was going backwards. And I don't know, there were 4 of us in there, 5 of us in my van, my little blue one again. And I mean, I'm backing that baby in. Well, my brother, he's sitting up there with me, and you're crazy. He said, you're scaring me to death. So he gets out of the passenger side and goes to the back one, backing the daggone thing in the corner anyway. He was going to hit first. So he didn't do too good. Yeah, we've had fun on them race tracks. Well, in Australia, believe it or not, that's how they, in Parramatta, was one of the only few clay tracks there at the time. Now there's a few more. They made one of them go a lot better and a lot of them now. But over there, like when they got the push trucks out there, that's how they race over there, because they don't care about the heat racing or nothing. They want the track perfect for the feature. Well, shoot, man, that was my specialty. I like them little greasy, slick race tracks. And anyway, the wing back and no air and everything. I'd say we probably won about all of them when it was greasy like that, but we didn't win all the features, of course.
Now, you've got quite an accomplished list of accomplishments here. Just for some of our listeners that may not know, you're the 85 and 86 USAC Silver Crown champ, the 85 All-Star Circuit of Champions champ. You were in the 1998 Indianapolis 500 and finished 12th. Was it in 1998? You won. You were the first person to win all 4 divisions in the 4 Crown Nationals at Eldora: the midgets, the Silver Crown, the modifieds, and the sprints. So, I mean, what haven't you done?
I don't know.
Actually,
we haven't stopped smiling. I'll put it to you that way. We just, we set goals out, and I wanted to race in California. I wanted to race in Australia. Well, early on, it was South Africa. They had kind of a modified sprint car deal. But then when I finally figured out Australia, and I wanted to go to Indy, when you keep setting goals, when you had goals as a kid and you reached them all, other than I wanted to win Indy, which that never happened. But if you look back today, we crashed and broke our neck a couple times, but I've had a wonderful life. And by being a racer, most of the time on weekends and on Wednesday, you got Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and things. Well, I did everything in life that I wanted to do. Snow ski, water ski, scuba dive, bowl, whatever it is. I tried it at an age that I could do all that. I said, well, when I retire, I'm going to do this and this and this. Well, when you get that old, you don't want to do that kind of stuff anymore. So I got to do it all, and I wasn't good at nothing, but I had a ball. I mean, I just lay back at night and grin.
Now, have you heard of this Sprint Cars on Ice deal? They got an event coming up in Michigan at the end of this month, and Nick Berry's one of the organizers of it. He says, get Jack to race Sprint Cars on Ice. Would that be something you'd ever consider, or is it's too brown for you?
I'd love to do that. I think that'd be great. The only problem is it's too freaking cold. Yeah, they figure out how to get a heater in there or something, maybe. But like I said, I don't like to go anywhere where it's cold.
They have like plexiglass. It's not an open sprint car. They actually have plexiglass, like a windshield, and I believe they have starters in those as well. So maybe they could put a heater in there. Oh my gosh, yeah, that has to be wild. Now I'm telling you, that would be pretty cool. It is pretty cool watching some of those guys do that. But
Jeff,
what will they think that means?
Back to Australia, didn't you run a a couple of races on what they can, the Australian version of our NASCAR?
No.
I thought you had run a couple of races on that coast, that track on the East Coast.
Yeah, Bob James track. I know.
Correct.
We ran like Liverpool, and that was a little quarter-mile paved track, and we won the Marlboro Grand National, and that was precursor of all that Oscar and all that stuff, But no, we never rode that. I drove a semi over there on a half-mile dirt track, and we did the demolition derby over there, and I ran this little mini rear-ended mini sprint over there, and oh my gosh, there wasn't too many other things we didn't drive, but no, I never drove the Oscar of it. When they come up to that bigger echelon of driving, you got to be more politically correct, and I just never fit into that deal. My mouth would hurt me. That's like NASCAR.
And I think that's why everybody loves you. I mean, that's what makes you great.
That's why I only got to do such a short time in Indy. When you go and say some of the things that I said there wasn't no way I could get in. They weren't going to keep me around for a long time because that's not the image that they wanted. And, I was showing all these young drivers how not to act.
Scott, didn't you have an interview with Jack that you were going to share?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Before we get to that, though, you've raced all kinds of different, as you were talking about, even in Australia, all kinds of different types of race cars, demolition derby, whatever. What type of car have you enjoyed running the most?
I tell people, I'm 70 years old, and I tell people if I could go back and be 30 and run one race, being healthy and just the way I want it, there's no doubt in my mind. My first pick would be a non-wing sprint car at Eldora Speedway, bar none. That would just be it. But then probably second would be a Silver Crown at Springfield, Illinois. That would be my first two picks. But a non-wing sprint car is the most awesome race car in the world. The sprint car today would kill me because you got to be so smooth and so precise, And I tell people, of all the years that I raced, I think I raced 29. And all that time, smooth and patient wasn't two descriptions they used for my driving style. So the wings, man, the kids today are just so smooth with those wings and everything. And there at the end of my career, the money was a little different deal. And I just kind of broke off and went non-wing racing more. But I like them more. I don't know why. They suited my driving style, and we did all right with the wings. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy them, because I did, and we won quite a few races. But at the end, I just liked the non-wing better.
Now, do you have any favorite drivers that you like to watch today? Some of the up and comers.
Well, the thing that amazes me, and you've never heard the term ever used because they got music prodigies, song prodigies, all this stuff. We've got a racing prodigy, and that's just the old Kyle Larson. Now, that boy, I don't care what kind of race car he's fun to watch, and I don't care what it is, I mean, it's just unbelievable. So, like I said, my nephew still races. I'm always pulling for him, and I since I'm not racing, like I said, other than my nephew, my favorite driver's not out to run anymore, so I just kind of go for them all.
That's a very politically correct answer. I would not expect that from you.
Yeah.
But
Jack,
all right.
I know you mentioned Dennis and Chris Kaiser, who you drove for, and I got another one of your car owners in the room, Flake Kemenal, is watching. And obviously, Bob Hampshire was huge in your career. Is there a car owner that sticks out that that was your favorite car owner to work with? Was it Bob, or was it Flake, or anybody like that?
Well, I got along, luckily, with all my car owners. I only got fired out of one in California that Joe McCrae fired me because I didn't crash Leland. Unfortunately, I did crash him later, but not on purpose. But anyway, Hampshire and I just worked so good together, I mean, he knew what I was thinking before I did, and he could just set the car up. And now Flake and the boys, Brian and Chad, which back in the day I was Wimp and Moorhead, And but I've enjoyed them all. You know, we drove for Dick Briscoe, you know, and now Chase, he comes around, and Kevin, which Kevin was a snotty-nosed kid when I was driving for his dad. So, you know, we just got to really drive for a lot of neat people. Like I said, Nickel Brothers was the same thing, you know. They were just right up there because we had so much fun with them two hillbillies. Dad drove for them forever, and, you know, and then we kind of snuck in there on them, and we had a ball, and we kept driving for them. Even when I'd go somewhere else, we would go and come back to drive Nickel Brothers' car. I never, if I didn't have a race and or some place to go to and they wanted to go racing, we went.
John Young, one of our listeners, wants to know if you have a most memorable win.
A most memorable win. The fourth crown would have to be, you know, just something that don't happen, and to have all the cars that nice that night. I mean, that has to be above all of them. But some of the others, we've had a couple, you know, really good ones to talk about. But that has to be the standout night from my racing career.
Cool. All right. Now there's this famous interview, or this interview that you're kind of famous for, and I guess has launched a line of T-shirts or something. I'm going to play a clip of the interview real quick, if that's okay, and then I'd like to talk about that, if that's cool.
I was mad.
Here, earmuffs if you have young ones in the room. Here we go. This is Jack Hewitt from, what year was this? I don't even remember what year.
About 92, somewhere around there, I would think.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, you damn right I got time out there. Oh, that stupid-ass flagman. They got a dumb-ass flagman that can't see. You know, we sat there, the USAC officials yelled yellow. I sat there, and he shut the green light back off. He turned the green light back on, so I got in the tuck position. Sure enough, we got hit. He's a fat little query son of a bitch. Little son of a bitch. I'll get his neck. And then he wants to use this USAC shirt that says authority. You know, his little son of a bitch probably makes 175 a week, which is fine. But he makes this shirt on, and then he's authority. Got all this power, and he wants to just go back to the pits. Well, he fucked up. And he can kiss my dick. And if I get the chance, he's going to.
Jackson, you all right, though?
I'm all right.
So that was, what was let's start out, what was the circumstances that led to that interview?
Well, my midget died going down the back straightaway, and I'm watching the lights, and the light, you know, was off to start the race. Well, then the yellow come on. And then he shut the yellow back off real quick, and I'm watching all this. And then he turns the green on. He said, well, I didn't want to have a crash going into one. Well, they all went by except one of the cars toward the end, you know, and then we got crashed where the yellow should have came out, and there wouldn't have been any problem. And like I said, that is not what I want to be remembered for my career, but I guarantee you, they'll never tell you one race I won, and that's the only thing they're going to remember, Jack Hewitt, when I'm dead and gone. The bad thing about it is back in the day, before I got hurt the first time and broke my neck, if I kind of told you I was going to kick your butt, you know, it sounded like I had some authority. But that was after I broke my neck the first time. Well, then after I broke my neck, I sounded like Pee Wee Herman. So I get mad. I'm going to kick your ass. Well, it just didn't have the same effect, you know. It was a little bit different deal after that.
Now that you have a KMD line of T-shirts, as I understand.
Yeah, we got T-shirts and stickers of them. Yeah, you know, and like I said, it's not something that I brag about and I'm proud of, but that's me in my mouth. And I've had to live with this thing my whole life, so I'm getting used to it. And Jody, so she's making a couple dollars selling the T-shirts, and you know, we finally this year we took the keep moving dirt off the bottom because we know that's not what it really meant. One guy, Kent Walters, he wanted to go and put the real deal in there, you know. And I said, no, I'm not ready for that yet. So we just got to do it in KMD on there and a smile.
Now, Jack, you worried that you're going to be remembered for just that. I got to disagree. I, for one, being a fan my whole life, my memories of you is always going to be how great you were with the fans and the connection you always had with the fans. Talk a little bit about what the fans meant to your racing career.
Well, to me, you know, fortunately, I lucked out, and I liked every part of racing other than working on the cars. I worked on them. But, I like the racing. I like the fans. Going to the races. I mean, it was just so much fun for me. And like I said, you all know how much I talk, so I need a lot of people to talk to. So I would automatically stick around and talk to the fans and everything. Whether we won, lost, or crashed, we was always one of the last ones to leave, just because if they come down to talk, I would dang sure sit there and talk with them. And to me, that's what's special. Somebody asked me one time, how many autographs did you have to sign? I said, I never had to sign one. I said, I always wanted to. And I would almost bet you in Indianapolis that we signed more autographs that year than the 32 other drivers combined. I mean, I missed a race at Eldora Speedway, a non-wing sprint car race at Eldora Speedway, and I signed autographs till dark because I didn't want the day to end. It was that amazing, and but there was no one left when I finally quit signing autographs.
Is it true you had the second best mustache in Indianapolis that year?
Yeah, Lynn St. James kind of had one better than that. But that kind of got me in trouble too. And Brian Barnhart come up to Jack, you're not at Eldora. You can't say things like that. I said, well, I cleaned it up. He said, well, what do you mean? And he asked me, what do you mean? And I'm not going to repeat it, but
oh, come on, do it.
After that, he just walked away and didn't say nothing else. So I was in trouble when that, and then like I said, and then probably the neat one though, and it was harmless. You just say things. I just say it and it just comes out. I don't think about nothing. That check valve between my brain and my mouth don't work.
And that's awesome though.
And when I walked down to my pit area, my garage, there was all those reporters there. I thought, what's going on now? I know I haven't done anything wrong. First thing out of their mouth, they're all sitting there, well, what do you think about Lion Day? I said, well, I don't know. What do you mean? He said, well, he's bad-mouthing all you rookies. I said, man, who cares what that faggot thinks? Well, they all printed it. So then when we go to Loudon, he said, that's the driver meeting. I want to talk to you afterwards. Well, so he gets up, well, I don't care. Me, I like to fight as much as I did race anyway. So him and I after there, just wanted them back up by, you call me a faggot? I said, well, yeah, did you badmouth me? Well, I didn't mention your name. I said, I was a rookie, so that same thing is mentioning my name. So then we go to this racing charity for Corey, and Lion Dyke comes up behind me and said, you faggot. And I said, man, give it a break. You still ain't mad about that, are you? Well, so then, and this is how all this stuff works out in time for races, because, we don't have time to be mad at each other. It's through a lifetime. That's just crazy. So we was over at Indy for the 100-year autograph session, and I was wanting to talk to Finelli Jones while Lion Dyke was right there. First thing he did, I went to shake his hand, and he wouldn't shake my hand. It was one of them fist bumps. I hate that. If you can't shake my hand, just don't do nothing. He fist bumped me. And I was pissed already, I mean, that's just not the way men do things, And he turned around, and I said, all right, Lion Dyke. I said, all right. I said, this is my wife, Jody. Guess what he does?
Fist bump.
He shakes her hand. I said, you know what was in her hand 2 hours ago? I said, you wouldn't shake my hand. It was in her 2 hours ago. Now you won't, and you shake her hand. So his boy's standing there, and he says, now this here's the guy that called me a European faggot. I said, I didn't call you no European, and he wanted my email and all that, which I don't do that crap. Heck, now we do just laugh about it, just part of the story of the day, I guess it was.
How awesome How awesome was it running the Indy cars?
It was pretty cool, you can't say, I mean, I never was good. We just stayed there and kept running, tried to keep out of trouble. I didn't get very good at it, but when we spun out and all, but it was pretty awesome. So want to do it your whole life. It was pretty awesome. It was just, I was living the dream. Without, I want to look down there and see me doing 230 or something down the back straightaway, and it looked like it's a dead end down there. Your brain just don't comprehend all that stuff, and And Johnny Rutherford, he's the one, he said, which I never was really good at Winchester, but he said, run Winchester run Indy like you do Winchester, back off down the straightaway and flat through it, put it through the corner. Well, after he told me that, the third lap, I think I could flat foot Indy then. So it was pretty cool. And the people that I got to meet, and like I said, the neatest thing now, and even Tony Jordan used it later, because I made the comment that, like I said, things just come out, and I said, this is like a county fair. And I said, I want to ride every ride, because we went to the Riley Children's Hospital, with all the drivers. We did the luncheon for the mayor, and but they had something going on. We went to it, without a doubt, and we just had so much fun. We went to the mayor's luncheon, and I got there late, and that's the 33 drivers set with all the city council members and the high dollar lawyers, all the big wigs in town, and so anyway, they got me sitting with these people, and I worry about my eating because I don't eat all that crap, and I thought, well, I get me back. Well, they don't even offer you anything in that place. They had a iced tea and a water. I don't drink either, and I drink Diet Coke. That's all I drink. So, well, this ain't going to be good. So I thought, well, at least if I get a plate to eat, I'll have some potatoes or something so I can at least look like I'm eating, Well, these daggone people, they bring me roast beef. They got some kind of chocolate mousse or something that I didn't eat, and a salad I don't eat. And they had some kind of roast beef and green beans. I thought, no potatoes. I said, well, at least there's green beans, so at least I can look like I'm eating something. So I reached down there and took a bite of that green bean. That's one of them healthy green beans, and them real hard ones. I said, is this what you rich people eat? I said, no wonder you're all so damn skinny. Well, we had the loudest table going the rest of the day, because now after that, the rules were off the table then.
Nice. Shane Yoder had sent me a message when he found out we were going to be interviewing you tonight. Do you remember Shane Yoder?
Absolutely.
Okay. He says that you were his favorite driver, and that you and Donnie Moran taught him how to pull off big slide jobs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how the slide job just came in. I don't know if he looked, well, we got it down pretty good. That was just part of Eldora racing after that, and it's just amazing how you watch different drivers and pick up different things, and that's anonymous. He put me in on that list with Donnie Moran. I mean, that's pretty cool, and like I said, when we won the 4 Crown, the night that we won all of them, I had just watched Donnie Moran run the World 100 and win it, cutting that corner down into 3 and driving up to the wall. And we won all 4 races like that. I thought they would have watched, but nobody else had their car put up that way. So, yeah, thanks, Shane. I appreciate the compliment there.
Thomas Cole wants to know what J.W. Hunt meant to you.
Oh, he was the man. I mean, he was 68, I think, at the time, or something like that when he came, and around maybe in 67, and not the year, but the age. He was that old. And, we were quite a bit younger, but we had so much fun together, and things he would do. I mean, today we just laugh at it and keep on going, and, when you have a sponsor that becomes a great friend, that's just like my favorite story about the deal is, after Charlie Swartzen, he came to us, and he went from Rodney Combs to Charlie, and then to us, and then to Brent Kading, and he just liked hard racers. And anyway, he'd go out to California to be with Brent Kading, and he'd turn around and, hey, tie my shoe. Yeah, boss. They'd get down there, tie his shoes and everything, So then when he'd come back to Ohio to spend the weekend with us, he'd go and he'd say, hey, tie my shoe. I say, you badass. If you can't tie your shoe, you better get loafers, And he knew when he told me I wasn't going to tie his damn shoe. But he was a pretty cool dude. He asked me one time, he said, would you guys like to have some strawberries? He said, we got a truck coming to Kroger's, He said, we'll just drop you some off. Well, yeah, we'll take some strawberries. they had a semi pull out in front of my house and dropped off 50 flats. That's 12 dozen strawberries. We were driving down the road trying to find people to give them to. I mean, you have no idea what to do with that many strawberries.
That's awesome.
Jack, one of our listeners wants your opinion on the way dirt late models drive today, with aerodynamics and all of that coming into play.
Man, the way they picked that left side up and all, I mean, they got those things so hooked up. I don't understand it all, but it sure hasn't hurt the racing anyway, you know, because they, and the neat thing about it is they, with the Outlaws and Lucas Oil now, they split them up and, you know, just they cut them right down the middle. They all both got, you know, they got good racing going on, and it just amazes me how they get them to work the way they do now. You know, the slicker, the faster they go. Now, I will say, it kills me at Eldora to watch them. You don't watch them. You watch the truck. When they go around the bottom of Eldora, I could leave, you know, because, you know, even the sprint cars do it. You know, I don't know. I just don't like Eldora running the bottom. If you go in the bottom other than Bobby Allen, you know, it just ain't right no more, you know. Yeah. So, but they work down there, so that's where they got to go.
What did you think about the truck series not coming back to Eldora?
Oh, it kind of made me think. That was one of my favorite races at Eldora, without a doubt. You know, I love that truck race. Everybody said, "Oh, they're so slow." No, they're side by side. They're racing. Their strategy. I love that race there. But being Tony Stewart, I'd have said the same thing. You know, I tell NASCAR kiss my butt too. If I'm not good enough to have a cup race, then I don't need your old pickup trucks. You know, and I mean, I don't blame him a bit. I'd have done the same thing.
Now, if Tony called you up and said, "Hey, you want to come and get in one of my SRX cars this summer?" what would your response be?
No, I'll have to do it. You know, we were there. You know, we go and watch them practice and everything. And Ray Abraham, I met him once, John Bickford, over at the PRI show. But I was standing there last year, and he said, "Hey, did you bring your helmet?" You know, I thought, man. He said, "Get in one of these things, take it for a ride," which, you know, I would have. I mean, don't tell me to do that too many times, because you're going to have to be getting Sunday out of one. You know, and that's a pretty neat series. The only problem is the drivers, you know, they're going out to win, and unfortunately it's kind of like big time wrestling, you know, only on a racetrack, and then guys don't know how to do that very well, you know what I'm saying? Like when we was in the USA stock car team in Australia, we would have to let the Aussies win sometimes. not all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, they weren't no slouches, but there'd be some places, you know, that once we get hooked up, and, you know, and then, like I said, this guy, you know, Ed Wilbur, he was the mouthpiece, you know, and me, I didn't know no better. I didn't know what this big time wrestling was in a race car, and I went over to race, and I tried to win every race, and if you crashed me, I got mad, and we'd be fighting, and we just kind of a wild man, but believe it or not, that's what got me to go back over there. That, and everybody ran around the bottom at the time. And here I got my little late model up there scraping the fence, and that and my camper, I think, is why I got to go back for so long.
Nice. So what do you think about NASCAR going to or having the race this weekend at the LA Coliseum?
What a joke! I mean, what a joke! You know, if California wasn't so screwed up, there'd be real racing out there anyway. You know, but they just turn around and, you know, you don't make a demolition derby out of a Winston Cup car. You know, they build them up so big to have them so prestige, I guess I want to say, with them and everything. And then they're going to put them out there and have a little demolition derby. How stupid can you be? You know, everything's about money, and if it's going to tear your series down a little bit, and I want to see what they talk about when it's over with. You know, I mean, it's, you know, you remember what Martinsville used to be like, and they kept trying to get to where they could race it and race it and race it. Well, this is going to be 10 times worse than that, I think. Now, I have been wrong once or twice, so we'll see after this weekend. But yeah, I mean, I'll be watching it, but you know, I don't know. It's just quarter mile too much, like I said, for that deal.
Yeah.
They're trying to widen their margin. But, there years ago, they said, well, we don't want the beer and pretzel crowd. We want the cheese and wine deal. Well, now, after Bubba, we accepted him and Danica, which I never was, into her. I just didn't care for her as much as I did. But Bubba come in and nobody even thought of anything about him being black, And then when he went to Alabama and brought that noose up there, and everything like a hangman noose. So now I give up on him. I don't care if he never comes back in NASCAR. But they're trying to make all this crap political. They got away with the rebel flag. Now they can't have, Brandon's not a favorite in the NASCAR deal. They're starting to badmouth that deal. It's not about politics. We're racers and we want to be racers, and the fans are fans and drink their beer and raise Cain, you know what I'm saying? And they're trying to take that out. We call the road race people silk short racers. Well, is that what they're trying to make NASCAR out of? That's not how they got built, the moonshine hunters and the guys that get out and fight or raise Cain and whatever, and now they want them to, be sissies.
Yeah, definitely got away from their roots. I think that was something they wanted to do over the long term, and now they've gotten away from their roots. Now it seems like
they're trying to get back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if they're trying to get back when they go. Like I said, let's go Brandon. Nobody likes Biden, so why do they want to worry about what the people think? It's a slogan. It isn't a big deal, life or death, They're just telling people they don't care for them, but don't bring politics into the daggone thing, even though the fans did. But they're the ones paying the money, so you got to let them do a little bit of whatever they want to do.
There you go. Who's your pick to win that Busch Light Clash this weekend? You sticking with Larson?
Oh, I don't know. It could be the guy that starts dead last. It's just who finishes is going to get this one, I think.
Who survives?
I don't think you can pick a winner down there, next week or this weekend for sure, because it's just something all new, these big cars on that real old dinky track. And there's a lot of late models up in Michigan that run the pavement and all that, but none of them weigh as much as these cars do. So I don't know. I mean, nobody knows. So it's just going to be something to see, I guess. See if they go back next year. Maybe what they needed to do, they needed to put all the seats on the infield and just blacktop where the grandstand is, or at least they'd have a high bank.
I like that. That's a great idea. Nice. Well, Jack, we appreciate all the time that you've given us. And do you guys, Ron or Jerry, you guys got any more questions? Before we
I'm good.
Jack go?
No more questions, but Jack, I thank you so much for coming on board tonight. We love talking to you. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
That won't be a problem. And like I said, the only thing I miss is, like I said, I still got all my fans, and I hope when we get to the race, I still talk to a lot of people. And it's kind of nice just knowing people don't forget you when you're not around anymore. So, and I'm not going to let them forget me easy. That's for daggone sure.
Awesome.
And I do apologize to everybody for that cussing and everything, but I was mad. And when you're mad, you say things.
It's all good.
It's just what you felt you needed to say right then.
It was the heat of the moment.
Yeah. The filter was off. That's for daggone sure.
My favorite part was, though, like you went from anger to when he asked, "Are you okay, Jack?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm all right." You're like, it was all of a sudden you were calm. Yeah.
And you can't say mad forever. If you say mad like that forever, then they're winning. I can't let them win. It's just like right now, somebody cuts me out on the road, they cut you off or whatever, and I say, "You dumb," and then I'm over. I can't even get the cuss word out. And they can't even bother me that mad anymore. Awesome. Just get half of it out and go on.
Well, enjoy the 80-degree weather you got. We'll dig out of our foot of snow up here.
Well, we'll be thinking of you.
All right.
With the chuckle.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right. Thanks,
so
Jack.
Much, Jack.
We'll see you when you guys get the thermostat turned back on.
There you go. We'll see you definitely.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye, bud.
Bye, Jack.
Bye.
There you go. The legendary Jack Hewitt. I don't think he disappointed. That was kind of what I was expecting. I liked it.
Hey, What you see with Jack Hewitt, what you get, that's
Yeah.
he's amazing for that, and that's part of why the fans have loved him for so long, because there is no filter. What you see is what you get. He wants to have fun. He wants to race, and he loves to talk. He loves to tell stories and have fun. So
he would have been great in NASCAR. I mean, even if he stayed in IndyCar, I mean, he would have made me a fan of IndyCar racing.
I wish the doors could have been kicked open to Indy earlier.
That would have opened up a lot more eyes, I think, more a different audience to that sport.
Right.
But, they're in the 60s and 70s. USAC was the way to Indy, and that's Jack kind of went in that way, and it kind of went to the wing sprint cars. But Indy, the doors to Indy closed unless you had millions and millions of dollars. And Jack, he was still a grassroots racer. He was a sprint car guy, and he wasn't that wine and cheese crowd. And that's what
NASCAR was headed that way, and now there's some talent rising in NASCAR that's come in the old school way, and it's really cool to see.
Chase Briscoe's one of them that he mentioned.
Right.
He drove for Chase's grandpa, Dick Briscoe. And it's so cool to see guys like that climbing their way up. Corey LaJoie's another one. He's not in a top-notch ride yet, but Corey LaJoie is one hell of a racer, and I think one of these days you're going to see him at the top notch with NASCAR.
And I don't think Larson came in with a big fat checkbook.
He had a little bit more money behind him than what most people have.
He's kind of proven himself, though.
Yes, it doesn't matter. I mean,
talent has gotten him to where he is now.
Yeah.
We got the racing roundup coming up. First, before we get to that, I want to mention I was watching the news just before 5 o'clock. Our Channel 11, from where Ryan Weekman.
Sure.
Ryan Weekman.
Weekend weather pit stop forecasts come from. He wasn't on because he does mornings now, but they were doing one of those live shots of the Defender, I think it is, their vehicle driving around, and they got hit while they were doing the live shot.
Really?
And my goodness.
I probably shouldn't have been laughing as hard as I was, but it was probably the funniest thing I've seen in quite some time.
A couple days.
They were fine. They came back. They like, we're going to send it back to the studio. And then in the studio, they're like, are you guys okay? And there was nothing. They came back a half hour and said that they got hit and Defender was getting towed. So I'm sure Ryan Weekman is probably upset about that. I know he likes that vehicle. What kind of racing action we have going on this past weekend and week?
Well, I can tell you right now, down at Florida, Tyler Erb just picked up the win in B main number 2 Lucas Oil race. But last weekend at Golden Isle on Thursday, it was Devin Moran picking up the win in the Big D's Pizza number 9. On Friday night, it was Brandon Overton picking up the win. Same thing on Saturday, Brandon Overton picking up where he left off in 2021. At Bubba Raceway Park on Monday, it was T-Mac, Tim McCready, after contact with Devin Moran on the final lap, picking up the win. And then on Tuesday, Devin Moran back in victory lane in the number 9. Tonight through Saturday at All-Tech Raceway in Florida, they're in action. Then Saturday, February 12th at East Bay Raceway Park. 60th annual Rolex 24 Daytona.
I forgot a hyphen in there. That actually should have been Sunday through Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
At East Bay Raceway. Sorry.
Yeah. So they'll head to East Bay Sunday through next Saturday. Meyer Shank Racing won the DPI class with Helio Castroneves at the wheel at the checkered flag. Dragon Speed USA with Pato Ward, among others, took the LMP class. Riley Motorsports won LMP3. Pfaff Motorsports won the GTD Pro, and Wright Motorsports won GTD. And that is your racing roundup for this week on the Hammer Down Racing Report.
That DPI race was pretty interesting. If you were watching the intervals, there were 3 or 4 cars nose to tail virtually the whole race.
I know they tore some stuff up early. There were some big names out of the race early that I expected to see up front, and unfortunately, just you got taken out.
There were a couple of racers commentating that said they had never seen that little patience during that race.
It's 24 hours. You gotta have patience.
Got all night to figure it out. You don't.
I think they only had
the first lap.
I think they only had 6 of the DPI cars, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
3 or 4 of them were nose to tail.
Yeah, they were all right. Well, there were so many cautions that kept
tenths of a second.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
I forgot about this. Lisa Carter was mentioning this. East Bay Raceway Park going away. Going to stink. That's been such a big part of racing every year during the winter of the East Bay Nationals. Not only for
this is
sprint
the
cars,
last
late
year.
models. I can't remember. I just think it was this year.
I remember when they announced it was going to be like in 5 years it's going to be gone, but it didn't seem like it was 5 years yet. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Lisa Carter's asking. I couldn't remember what year, but yeah, that's
it's soon.
Either way, whether it's this year, next year, or 5 years from now, I wish East Bay. That's a track that's just. I mean, its roots are in everything as far as racing for sprint cars, dirt racing in general.
There was a very familiar voice on the mic a couple of nights.
Which one would that be? Would
that be Larry?
Larry Jewett.
Larry Jewett, that guy.
He finally found some work. Good for him.
Yeah.
Larry was the announcer at Oakshade when my dad won his first career feature back in '87.
Yeah.
So that was good. Larry's always been a lot to me.
We have a Big D's Pizza we're going to be giving away here in just a little bit for tonight's How Many.
Good, I'm hungry.
Good. They're not open tonight, so you can't redeem it tonight. I'm sorry. And maybe you could DoorDash some lesser pizza, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess something.
Contact Freeze Frame Photos for all your racing photo needs, from action shots to victory lane. They have all your favorite drivers. They also do special photo shoots by appointment. Freeze Frame Photos, special moments frozen in time. Give Charlie a call, 419-476-9978. And
we do calendars.
They do a calendar like what's over Jerry's shoulder there. Custom calendars. You could pick, just one driver and a bunch of different shots, or you could make a calendar with different drivers.
Yeah, you could have it with the RK1, with the 8S, with the 35.
Sure.
Have your own hammer down racing report calendar.
There you go.
With your very favorite hosts.
Oh, I got to get with Chris McCrone so we can do that go-kart race when they open up the Ohio Motorsports track.
Yeah.
We interviewed last week.
Yeah. Then we'll be a little more even.
There you go. Got to mention Ron Miller Race Cars as well. They were not closed today due to the snow. 734-856-7223. That's 856-RACE. Give them a call for race cars, parts, safety equipment, service, everything a racer needs. Just wait a few more minutes until we're done with the show before you call them.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Somebody caught me. I have not flipped it to February yet.
Oh, you're still on January?
He likes the January truck.
I like a January picture better.
And if you are one of those who've already gotten one of the custom calendars, I gave some away as Christmas presents this year. It's now February, so go ahead and change the calendar.
Make sure you.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Jerry's going to do that. While he's doing that, we're going to start off some of our racing news here. Harley White is going to be back racing in Ohio for Ed Neumeister Racing again this summer. She'll be racing at Waynesfield, Attica, Eldora, Limaland, Fremont, Atomic, I-96, Butler, and more tracks in our area. She had a pretty successful season last year. Coming in this
She
area,
put a whooping on them at Limaland. Yeah. Them boys are in trouble with her coming back to pilot the Ed Neumeister number 11N.
Lorraine Raceway Park will host the second annual Race to Escape 6-hour Enduro on Saturday, March 26th. That's for front-wheel drive cars, and that's going to pay $5,000 to win. So if you're looking for something to do on the asphalt, there you go.
The Pot of Gold Enduro that was scheduled at Shady Bowl, that was a 12-hour Enduro, unfortunately has been canceled due to lack of entries, unfortunately. So,
boo. We mentioned this earlier. Attica Raceway Park has announced their 2022 schedule, which will kick off on Friday, March 18th. Actually, that's the weekend before the Race to Escape deal at Lorraine Raceway Park. So they're opening up on Friday, March 18th. They're going to have World of Outlaw NOS Energy Sprints making 2 stops this summer. Again, they had two last year as well, May 20th, and then the Brad Doty Classic on July 12th. 4 All-Star Circuit of Champions events, including the Sprint, the Sprint Nationals on April 8th and 9th, which is that's typically the first points race for the All-Stars, and Ohio Sprint Speed Week date on Friday, June 10th. American Late Model Series will be there, and Friday, September 2nd, so I believe that's probably Labor Day weekend.
Is that a first time there for the ALMS series, or the first time back in a long time?
It's been a while, I believe, but no, the ALMS has been there before.
Okay.
There will also be. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm confusing with Fremont because I know they used to go to Fremont every once in a while too. But there also is going to be 11 410 Attica Fremont Championship Series events.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of that, is that voting still going on for the promoter of the year, or is that ended? I forget. I know Dwayne Hancock was up for that.
Cool. Dwayne and Larry Bowes.
We'll have to get an update. You're sounding robotic, Jerry. Moving on, the SRX and CBS have announced the 6-race schedule for this summer, starting with Five Flag Speedway in Florida on June 18th. Then it's off to South Boston Speedway in Virginia on June 25th. Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut on July 2nd. Then the Nashville Fairgrounds, which ought to be pretty cool, Tennessee there. That's going to be on July 9th. I-55 Raceway in Missouri on July 16th. And then I believe wrapping things up at Sharon Speedway on the 23rd of July. And, thanks, Dave. All those events will be starting at 8 o'clock on CBS on Saturday nights. So pretty cool. So yeah, Dave says for those of you listening on the podcast and can't see what was on the screen, that the voting ended on 2-1. When are they going to announce the winner? That's my question.
And also 2024 for East Bay will be their final year.
Larry Jewett says 2024. Okay, yeah. So we still have a couple more years for East Bay.
Yay.
Buddy Kofoid, I know we were talking about this a few weeks back, what he was going to be doing this year. He's going to attempt to defend his USAC NAS Energy Drink Midget National Championship throne this year as he sets his sights on the season's 37 race schedule, driving with Keith Kuntz Curb Agajanian Motorsports number 67. Say that 10 times fast. In December, a dozen dirt racing sanctions met to form a set of common rules across multiple sanctions. That meeting took place at the PRI show. In conclusion, many rules were streamlined across multiple series. One of those rules included the droop rule, which limits deck heights. Other unified rules, car weight and body measurements, specifically the World of Outlaws introduced the droop rule to their series last year. This year, it's the first implementation of the rule in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, and I guess Brandon Overton actually has already been caught or bit by the droop rule deal after earning the pole. What was that, last Thursday night, I believe it was? Yeah, it's been twice now. He failed the droop rule after inspection after qualifying and had his time disallowed. Yeah. So anyways, it's good that series are getting together and coming up with common stuff.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah. NASCAR Cup Series.
I wish they'd get more aggressive and rein a few more things in, but that's a start.
The NASCAR Cup Series opens its season this weekend with the Busch Light Clash. It's an invitational race that will be held on the purposely built quarter-mile paved track inside the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. I do like Jack's idea. Put the seats in the middle and pave the bowl. High banked, I don't know, what would that be? About
3/8 maybe?
3, yeah. That'd be more fun. Anyways, the action is scheduled for Saturday for qualifying, and that's going to be at 8:30 p.m. on FS1. Then they're going to have 4 heat races and 2 last-chance qualifiers. That'll be on Sunday. That action will start at 3 o'clock on Fox, and then a 150-lap main event scheduled for 6 p.m., which will also be on Fox.
You know, Tony's going to be commentating that Busch Light Clash.
I know. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I meant to say something when we was talking to Jack about it, but that could be.
I think Tony and Jack in the broadcast booth would be great.
Yeah.
That'd be the best.
Talk about no filters.
Yeah, Tony has a bit of a filter.
Yeah.
But
unless he gets a little heated.
Yeah.
Like the victory lane at the Rumble. He told the lady to kiss his ass. I mean.
Well, yeah.
Floyd Mayweather's Money Team Racing will field a car for the Daytona 500. The team will field the number 50 entry with a Chevrolet body. Kaz Grala has been signed as the driver. Tony Uri Jr. will serve as the crew chief of the machine. It's been a while since I've heard Tony's name mentioned. So, and that's all the news I got for you for this week. Time to give away some pizza.
Yeah.
Well, last week's how many was how many laps the winning car would complete at the Rolex 24 at Daytona in the DPI class. That number of laps completed was 761, a bit lower than I had thought, but I was still closest with 800. Ron was a little bit. He was close, but lower by, I forget. I don't have the number in front of me, but yeah. So I was close with 800. Our winner online was Scott Warner.
Oh,
751. He was pretty close there.
Who's that?
He's this guy involved in racing and yeah.
He's got a race car.
Yeah, and sort of a racetrack that he kind of works for. It's kind of on hold, but that's another story for another time. So, Scott Warner has a Big D's Pizza. Congratulations. This week's how many? And your chance
That's
to
all I
win.
care about is pizza, and if he's going to share.
What?
That's all I care about is pizza, and if he's going to share.
Is
I don't
Scott's
care
gonna
about the
share?
race car or the racetrack. Yeah. I just want some of the
He
pizza.
probably would. Okay.
I know he would.
I think
Scott's
John Young
awesome.
just went and got his pizza.
Yeah, well, John Young was
He
supposed
said
to
he got
bring a
4 of
pizza.
them.
He was supposed to bring a pizza back, and I never saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Oh, he
said
did-
earlier in the show he went and got 4 of them.
He did actually offer. He asked me if I wanted anything, so came up with 4 pizza. Yeah. All right. So this week's how many? Your chance to win a Big D's Pizza is this. How many cautions are we going to see in the 150 lap Busch Light Clash Sunday at the LA Memorial Coliseum? Just in the main event, the 150 lap race, not the heat races or the last chance races. Go ahead and put your guess in the comments as far as how many cautions you think is going to be in that race. Any cautions count, debris caution, wreck caution. I don't know if they're having competition cautions or anything like that, but any cautions after the initial green flag, that's how many we're going to count. And whoever is closest will win a Big D's Pizza. Just put your number of guess in the comments. Do so before, I think that race is scheduled to start at 6 o'clock on Sunday. We'll say you could go right up until 6 o'clock on Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern time. So if you're listening to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, or iHeartRadio, whatever, wherever, if you're listening to us on the podcasting platform, you can still get into to guess. Just go to our YouTube or Facebook live video. Go to the comments there, put your guess in. So there you go. So apparently I have to guess first. And
Yes, you do.
I'm going to say I didn't even think about this. I probably should have thought about this since I came up with the question. I'm going to say 21 seems like a high number to me. Going with 21. 21 cautions. Jerry or Felix?
35.
Well, that's the number of a race car I happen to know.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just going to go 20 because I think there's going to be less than 21 for sure.
So you're more optimistic than
I was thinking maybe 8 or 9. It's only 150 laps. They're not going to have 40 cars out there, so I'm hoping it's
one
not
thing
gonna be a
do you know if they're counting? Yeah. Do you know if they're counting the caution flag laps toward that 150? Because that might make a difference. Or is it
Right,
150
that
green
changes.
flag laps?
I
I
mean,
was under the
NASCAR
assumption
normally does.
I was under the assumption it was 150 green flag laps, and the only reason I was assuming that was because they're running it more like a short track event with the heats and the
correct.
The last chance races. So Kurt Dickey thinks there's only going to be 6. John Deere says 5. They're very
I'm
optimistic.
thinking 8. I'm thinking 8 or 9 to be quite honest, but I'm going with 20 just to be at one under you. This way,
Dave said Dave is like the master of everything here. You know, he's got 150 green flag laps, so that helps out my 20. Then.
Isn't it his birthday?
So they could have
I think
two
it
or
was,
three. they could have 2 or 3 cautions all on the same
and
lap.
still not complete a lap. Yeah.
Right.
So there.
Yeah. I think I'm still good.
Got nothing on this weekend's Big D's Pizza racing menu, but coming up in about a month and a half, Attica will pick up, and we'll start getting some races on our Big D's Pizza racing menu. I checked out the was it last night? Sandusky Speedway did their live broadcast. Usually they do Tuesday nights, but I think it was on last night.
I think they had to postpone it, if I remember right.
Unless I just lost a day. It just seems like it was last night. They were talking about their they gave a name to their spring cavalcade. I can't remember his name. It was like a memorial deal. I apologize about that, but they are going to be running the it sounds like they've been talking to you, Ron, about the UMP dirt late models. Not just doing one feature on Sunday, because I guess they were breaking it up with the heats on Saturday and the main events on Sunday, but they may run a main event on Saturday. So it would be 2 points, UMP point features that weekend, one on Saturday and one on Sunday that they're working on.
I've talked to several prominent dirt late model racers that said that they just couldn't go 2 nights for one feature. So I would imagine the Saturday feature will pay a little bit more.
I know they were mentioning working on getting a sponsor for that too. So if there's anybody out there that wants to put up some money, and we'll talk about it too, I'm sure, then get a hold of Chris Mize over there.
Hand Job Nail Salon is no longer in business.
That's because they didn't advertise enough. That's the problem.
That's
there.
it.
Yeah. Get a hold of Doug. Chris Mize over there at Sandusky Speedway if you're interested in putting some sponsorship up for that event coming up on April 9th and 10th, Saturday and Sunday. So looking forward to that. That's about all the fun stuff I have for this week. Thanks to Jack Hewitt for talking to us tonight. That was a fun time.
And offering to come back
Map TV.
again.
A-Main getting ready to go green right now.
Ooh.
All right, so we'll get out of here so you can check out that A-Main. Thanks to our associate producer, Dave Kemmer, field correspondents, Matt Swander, John Young, and Doug Dock. Next week, Darren Nida is going to be on the show. Is that how you Nide. He's going to be moving up from micro sprints to full-blown 410s. So, that's next week on this show, 7 o'clock, Thursday night. Hammer Down
and that family has been very prominent in sprint car racing for a lot of years.
Yeah, the Nide name.
Notably with the sod sprints, yes.
Yep.
That's why I know that name. That's the connection. No Hammer Down hotline playback. If you want to leave us a message to be played back at the end of next week's show, let's go ahead and call the Hammer Down hotline, which is 419-318-3081, 419-318-3081. Call anytime, day or night. It's not going to matter. Won't wake anybody up. It's all good.
Happy birthday, Dave Kemmer. It is his birthday.
Happy birthday to our associate producer there. And thanks again to all our sponsors, Oakshade Raceway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars, Freeze Frame Photos, Headhunters, Barber Studio, and Salon. See you next week.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for putting up with us again.
Yeah, and we apologize about the adult language. Not really.
No, we don't.
We'll see you next
week.
Well,
that's bull.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.